Okay, so you've taken PTE only. What about Rinku? Rinku, is this your first day as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have not taken IELTS before.
No.
Okay. So the reason why I'm asking is a few students are regulars here. For example, Rajesh and Raman Preet, they are regular students, so they're quite familiar with the strategy and things. So I was just asking it just to see if I should repeat the strategies or not. I think, Subina, you've been to a few classes before, have you? Haven't you?
Yes. Yes.
So this is not your first time, right? Not your first class, I think.
Yes. It's not my first time.
Okay, so but there are guys, so that we have a mixture of students who are new to IELTS as well as students who have taken IELTS before. So what we're going to do today, I'll just give you an introduction on how this class is going to be. So usually we used to have classes where I focus only on one module. For example, I just do reading today and we do a full test, then I would do listening. So we would divide it module by module. But today what I was thinking is I'll have a combination of both reading and listening so that the students will be able to practice two modules today. So I'll just give you a brief introduction to reading. So I think Rajesh and Raman and Subina, it's going to be a bit of repetition for you guys. So bear with me, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. All right. So this is a bit about us. As you know, this is a free class organized by CECA. And along with all these services, we also offer free classes. About me, I'm a qualified IELTS PTE trainer. I'm basically an ESL teacher, so I teach English as a secondary language to adults or to adult students. So today we'll be looking at reading question types. So what we'll do is we'll look at our questions first, okay? And then we'll see what kind of question we are dealing with. We'll come back, look at the strategy for that type of question and go back and solve it, okay? So give me a minute while I pull up the questions. Okay, can you see my screen? I'm not sharing it, I think.
Hi, Ruchi. Can I ask you one question, please?
Yes, who is speaking?
It's Subina here.
Oh, hi, Subina.
Yeah, what's the difference between online IELTS and the regular face-to-face IELTS like we used to do, the old IELTS technique? What's the
You mean to
difference? What
say
is online IELTS?
computer-based IELTS and paper-based?
Computer-based, yeah, the paper-based. What's the difference between these two?
So there's no big difference as such. So the biggest difference between computer-based and paper-based IELTS is all your modules, except for speaking, is conducted on the computer. So you're typing instead of writing. That's the biggest difference. The second difference is while you're doing a computer-based listening or reading, no time is given for you to transfer your answers. So you're just typing in your answers as you go. Whereas when you're writing it, you're given a little bit of time to transfer your answers for your listening. Okay. And there's actually no big difference. And the results obtained for your computer-based IELTS is within 5 to 6 days, you'll be getting your results. Whereas if you take your paper-based test, you'll be getting your results between 11 to 12 working days. So there's no big difference.
Which one is better nowadays? Is it we should do online?
So even the availability of the test, right? So your computer-based test is available thrice a day, 7 days a week. Okay, so there are three tests conducted every single day of the week, whereas your your paper-based test, I'm not too sure about the frequency. Rajesh, are you aware about the frequency in which the paper-based test is conducted? Is he here? Or has he gone? I think it's about 5 days or so. I'm not too sure about it. I mean 3 days or so a week is your paper-based test frequently conducted, whereas your computer-based test is conducted every single day.
Thank you.
So it depends on you how compatible you are with your computers and things. And if your handwriting is bad, terrible, then I suggest you you take
Yeah,
paper-based, I mean computer-based test.
yeah. We've now forgotten how to write on paper. Yeah.
That's a common problem now, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're faster on the computer, then it's a better option because you'll be getting your results quickly, and so no hassle of erasing and all that.
Then we must practice everything on computer, right? If we want computer based.
Yes. So I'll give you a few websites if you guys, even if you're paper-based test, you can use these websites to, take mock tests so that you know how
Yeah,
it is. So this is one.
yeah. That
IELTS online tests.com. This is one, and there's one more called IELTS simulator.com.
okay.
So you can use this to take a mock test, but I suggest don't take it unless you're very sure of the question types. Don't take these tests. So get familiar with your question types and how to attempt each of these questions, and only then take it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's all right. So guys, let's start off without anybody with any more doubts, or we can just start off. Are you all ready? So I'll just give you an introduction to PTE. I'm sorry, IELTS. I was just teaching PTE. That's the reason. So I'll just give you a introduction to it. IELTS reading. What are the different types of question, and what is the difference between academic and general training tests and all that. So IELTS reading, we'll be dealing with the question types, the strategies. When I say strategies, I actually mean approaches on how to approach each question type. So IELTS reading is different for your academic, for the academic and general training test takers. It's different because the reading sections or the reading passage, the content itself is different. Nothing else is very different. Okay. So the section, the major difference between your content is for the academic. Oh, we'll come to that. I'll come to that. So your total reading test is for about 60 minutes. You'll be having 40 questions. So it's different from listening because even if it's paper-based or computer-based, you will not be given time to transfer your answers into the answer paper. Okay, so even if you're writing your answers in the question sheet, I suggest you transfer it. Usually what students do is they spend about 40-50 minutes answering the questions, and they take the last 10 minutes to put all your answers into the answer sheets. But while you do that, sometimes they even forget the process of putting their answers in, and sometimes what happens is they mis-enter the answers. So what I suggest is enter your answers section by section. As you complete each section, enter it. Rajesh, I wanted to ask you a question. I was someone was asking me the difference between computer-based and paper-based IELTS test. So, do you know the frequency of the paper-based test per week? Is it 3 days a week or 4 days a week? Are you aware of that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Sorry, I'm not aware of that. Like, even I haven't given my IELTS even once. Like, I was giving my PTE before.
Okay, all right. So I thought you, because you were pretty good with many things, so I thought you would have researched in detail.
Oh, sorry
So,
for that.
so I think it's 3 days a week. That's the frequency for your paper-based test, whereas your computer-based test is available 7 days a week. 3 tests are conducted every day. Okay, so this is the major difference, and students, they write the answers on the question sheets and then put it on the answer sheet, whereas in your exam, in your computer-based test, you write it down. Then a pencil is provided. If you're taking a paper-based test, you have to bring your own eraser. So the reading section or the question text for each section will contain about 750 to 900 words per section. So there are 3 sections for both types of test takers. There are 3 sections, section 1, section 2, and section 3. And the difficulty levels keeps on increasing as you go on to the next section. So the section 3 is the most difficult for both types of test takers. Guys, if you've got any doubts, feel free to stop me, ask me questions, and we will move on, okay? So reading section GT versus academic. So on your left side is the academic section and on your right side is general training. So this is just a comparison between these 2 tests, okay? On your academic, the section 1 of your reading, you'll be having 1 text, okay? And this will be at an undergraduate level, and this is going to be the easiest of the 3. It's going to be at a general interest, but still it's going to be an academic topic. Whereas in section 1 of general training, you can have 1 or 2 texts for this section, and it's going to be something about everyday life, something very relatable. So it's going to be short and easy. The answers, it's very easy compared to this one. I mean, depending on your interests, of course. And this is where the content is borrowed from. So your test, the questions are borrowed for your academic from sociology, biology, history, and all that. Whereas for your general training, it's from job adverts, travelogues, safety information, and all that. So far, are we all good? Are you guys able to understand me clearly? Is there anything that you would like to ask? Any questions? No. Okay. All right. So section 2 of your reading. Section 2, this is the difference. Academic, the level increases. So you'll be getting texts at an undergraduate, late undergraduate, or early postgraduate level. Whereas in general training, it's going to be something related to work. Okay, this will be your job application, job description, a company handbook, a manual. Paper-based test is only once a week. Okay, thanks, Lovepreet. Thanks a lot. So this is where you'll be getting your sections. I mean, this is where you'll be getting your content. Okay, so this is borrowed from history books, from academic journals and all that, whereas this one again from travelogues, from all that. Okay. And then section 3, the difficulty level is increasing. Here it's going to be in your postgraduate level, and it's borrowed from these sources, whereas in your general training, it's going to be one long text. And this is going to be academic, or it's going to be abstract topics. Couldn't be something familiar. So you'll have unfamiliar topics. So keep expecting an unfamiliar, totally unfamiliar topic over here for your section 3, even if you're doing a GT, even if you're doing your GT. Okay, so be careful. Don't get confused or don't get carried away because of the unfamiliar words. The first question type that we see in our test today is table completion or flowchart completion. So this is the question type that we're going to see. So reading has about 12 types of question. I'm not so classifying it into groups like sentence completion, table completion, flowchart completion, and all that is completion, diagram labeling. All these are called completion questions. So not taking them separately, we have about 11 to 12 questions in your reading IELTS. So the difference between PTE and IELTS is in your PTE, all your question types are going to appear in your test. So all types of questions are going to come in your test in your PTE. Whereas when you're taking the IELTS test, you will not be coming across every type of question in all your tests. Okay, so that's a big difference. And there is no transferable scores like in PTE. So since many of you have taken PTE, in PTE, if you have to get points in reading, you have to do your read aloud well, you have to do your reading fill in the blanks, reading questions well, you have to do your summarize written text well. Whereas in IELTS, you get points only for that particular module. So there's no transferable scores. Okay, and also for your writing in your PTE was not a very important module. It was the least of all your problems. Whereas in the IELTS, your writing is very, very, very important for you. So your reading and writing are your main pillars or your main cornerstones, whereas listening and speaking do not cause you a lot of headache. So what is this question type called flowchart completion, or what is this question type and how it looks like? Give me a moment while I show you how this question type is going to look like. Guys, if you have a background noise, I suggest please mute yourselves. If you're on the train or if you're having a background noise, please mute yourselves and unmute if you've got questions. So this is what your flowchart completion is going to look like, if you can see my screen. So this is what it's going to look like. You have a process which is given to you in the form of a flowchart. So there is a sequence of events, or there's the sequence of a process that you have to fill in. For example, if you look at it, it's the production process. So all your flowchart completion questions are going to be something related to a sequence of a process or sequence of some kind of an event. Okay, so it's going to be like this. So what you have to do is you have to read through and try and complete it. Okay, so this is what it's going to be, step-by-step process of some kind of a production, which is there in this section. So here on your left side, you can see your section 1. This is what it's going to be like. So here you can see that this section has alphabets A, B, C, D. So every paragraph in this section is labeled, or it has a name. And this is section 1. This is what we were talking about. This is the easiest part of your reading, the first section. And the specific or what's special about this section is all your paragraphs are named. Not every time your paragraphs will be named. Not for every section your paragraph is going to be named, or for every passage your paragraph is going to be named. But in certain paragraph or passages, your paragraphs are going to be named. And I told you that section 1 will contain section 1 might contain 1 or 2 reading passages. So here section 1 has 2 reading passages. If you can see it has one passage from which is asking the questions 1 to 8 is based on this passage, and you see there's another reading passage here from where we have to for which we have to answer the questions 9 to 16. So this is how your reading is going to look like. So 9 to 16, this is another type of question which is called true, false, not given. And then this is your section 2. So this is your section 2, or the second section of your reading. If you can see, it's just one single passage. And there's another type of question here, which is matching information. This is another type of question where you'll have to match this information, or you'll have to match this information to this. So this is called a rubric. You'll have to see, so rubric gives you instruction like this: match each statement with A to J. So this is something called rubric, where they tell you how many number of words you have to say, or match this statements with the correct country A to J. So your answer has to be from A to J. Your answer has to be in the form of alphabets. So you have to pay attention to the rubric. Whereas this is your third reading passage. This is your first one. Okay, this is your third reading passage. Okay, this is your third reading passage. So if you can see, it's information like this. It could be posters, it could be adverts, and you'll have to answer. So there are 5 advertisements from A to E, and then you'll have to match information again. So each sentence is given, you have to match which advert belongs to which. So that's from question 30 to 38. And then there's another passage, another reading passage here. And we see there are 2 questions asked. So this is called summary or sentence completion. So you'll have to complete these sentences from the text. So again, the rubrics, this is called the rubric. It's asking the question, how many number of words? So we see maximum of 2 words. So even an article A and all those articles, even they are considered to be one word. So we have to be very careful. So our main idea is to read through the rubric. So this is how your reading is going to look like. And this is how your reading answer sheet will be like. So you have questions 1 to 40 over here. So there's the only difference between, so you'll be putting your name, your number, your center number, then what test, what module you're taking, GT, and then your date. So this is how your answer sheet is going to look like. So you have the questions labeled from 1 to 40, where you'll be writing it or typing it, okay? Okay, any doubts so far? So this is just a basic introduction on your test. So you know what I'll do. Is there anybody who is using their phone, just your phone? I'll put this. Subina is using your phone. Okay, Subina, I'll display the answer for you. But for the rest of you, what I'm going to do is I'll put in this question into the chat so that you can take it. Because if I'm not able to display it properly, you can actually read it at your end too. Okay, so I have posted it in the chat box. So if you're using your laptop, you'll be able to access this question, these questions or this test easily. So we'll do a few of the reading questions and then you can take it as your homework, the rest of it. Okay, all right, Subina. So you can take it as your homework if when we don't complete it, and then we can do a bit of listening as well. So we're completing both. We'll try to do a few question types for both reading and listening. Any doubts so far based on what we discussed? So that was just an introduction to those who are completely new to this. Okay. So this is the first question type that we're going to see. Questions from 1 to 8 is given like this. So the question, we'll first read through the question. So what do they want us to do? Read the instructions. Complete the flow chart below, okay. Choose no more than 3 words from the text. So they're asking us to choose no more than 3 words. So the maximum number of words that we have to choose here is 3. Imagine if you've chosen 4 words, or imagine you don't read this properly and you write 4 words, you will be not getting any points for that question. Okay, so 3 words means 3. So if you write, if the answer is a beautiful bird, okay, and if you have written a beautiful bird, that is 3 words. Okay, a is still considered to be a word. A and the articles are still considered to be a word. Okay. So you read your rubric. This is called the rubric. So you read it. No more than 3 words. You understand. Okay, the maximum number of words I can put here is 3. And write your answers in the boxes 1 to 8. I have to write my answers. So they're telling choose no more than 3 words from the text. Okay, this is a important instruction. So when they say from the text, that means this word, okay, has to be exactly how it is written here. So the missing word has to be borrowed from the text, has to be taken from the text. We can't use our own words. For example, if this missing word, for example, is a beaker, okay, you can't write glass or container. You can't paraphrase it. Even though they mean exactly the same, you can't write glass or a container or a cup. You have to write beaker because that's the answer. So if they say from the text, if the instruction says from the text, that means the missing word has to be exactly from the text. Guys, are you able to understand me? Am I being clear to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anybody have any doubt? I'm being so much in detail because it's your first day for many of you. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm going slow. Usually I don't take this much time. We simply start solving after a bit of introduction. All right. Okay. So if you don't understand anything, please let me know. Okay. So how do we solve this question type, or what are the strategies for us to solve this question type? Okay. Thanks for responding. So let's go back to our strategies. Okay. So after we discuss this, if you want me to put in this, if you want me to share this, I have a Word copy of these strategies. If you want me to put it in chat, I can do that. But this is not just my own, it's not my own content. I've borrowed it from, compiled it from different sources in the internet. So it's all over the place, all over the internet. It's not my own, okay? But if you want me to share it, I'll share it with you. So only the words are mine. The ideas are everywhere. You can find it all over the place. Okay, so this completion, there are so many completion kind of questions in reading. There is something called sentence completion, summary completion, flowchart completion, diagram completion. All these are called completion kind of questions. So we have to understand here, when you say completion, always look at the rubric. Okay, how many words do they require me to complete it? That's your first job. Here, is it more than 2 words? Is it more than 3 words? Or is it one single word? So this is your biggest or your first step. You read your instructions and your rubric especially, and you find out how many words you have to fill in. Then the second thing that you do is you look at the layout of the table. So layout of the table means how it is laid. Did you notice it has arrows? That means it's showing process or a sequence of events. Okay. Then you go through the sentences or the phrases. So let me show you what it means. So you go through the sentences or the phrases. If you see this, the first version of the text is dash to the printing center. So what do you think? What kind of word is there? Is dash to the printing center? Anybody who wants to answer? What can you guess? Can you predict what word this might be? No? So if the final version of the text is dash to the printing center, so you might think of a word is brought to this printing center, is taken to the printing center, is published in the printing center, some kind of a verb, right? Some kind of an action. The final version of the text is dash to the printing center, either brought or taken or some kind of a word like that. Okay, so we know we are looking for a verb here. So that's what they mean. Firstly, look at your rubric. Understand how many words you're supposed to write. Then read this text and try to predict or try to guess, okay, what kind of word am I looking at? Maybe brought or taken, something in that form. Okay, if you look at this, the next one, question number 2, it says, the pages are converted into dash. The pages are converted into some noun, right? Converted into something. It's not a verb here. It's converted into something. It's not an action. If you look at the third one, dash are made for use in the printing presses. So again, something, some things, okay, something in the plural form because are made. So that's what you have to do. You read and try to predict as to what kind of word they might be asking from you. Okay, then what's the next instruction? The next instruction is you go back to the table, you go to the text and start skimming. Okay, so for your reading, there are two important skills, two skills that are very, very important: skimming and scanning. Have you guys heard of it before? It's a very common term, right? You must have heard of skimming and scanning. Have you heard of it? Yes. So what does it mean, or what is the difference between these two? So this is the basic of your reading. So skimming, let me pull out my Word document just to show you instead of me just talking about it. Okay. So skimming and scanning, these are your important skills. Okay. Skimming means, skimming is to read the text or run your eyes through the text. Not turn your eyes, sorry. So you're running your eyes through the text. What are you looking for? Nothing. You're just looking to understand the gist of it. Okay, you're just gist of the text, or a vague picture, or the big picture of the text. This is your job. So your skimming is done when you're just running your eyes through the text only to get the gist of it, or only to get the information of it. So scanning is done when you're reading the text, okay, but you have something in your mind. You're looking for something. So scanning is reading the text to locate something, okay? Locate an information. So either a keyword or some kind of an information, you're looking for a date or some kind of an information that you're looking for, okay? So skimming and scanning are your two important skills that's important for your reading. Now, if you read through this text, okay, the next one is the next instruction is, after predicting what kind of word you'll have to fill in the gaps, what you do is you skim the text, or you're running through the text to just get a general understanding about what it is. So while you're running through the text, you write down the keywords, or you underline the keywords of the text. For example, I'll just show you what I mean by that. So before you fill in this, you understand, okay, here I'm going to put a noun. The final version of the text is brought or taken or something like that. You guess it. Now you skim through this text, or you read through this text. You run your eyes through this text just to get a big picture, okay? While you're running your eyes through this text, what you do is you underline or highlight your keywords, or you write down what is this. So if you skim through this passage, so newspaper production process. So it's talking about newspaper production process here. It has come a long way from the old days. So it's improved. So earlier, before what was done, the paper was written and edited and ultimately printed in one building. Okay, so all this was done in one building. Journalists were working on the upper floor. The printing presses was doing it on the ground floor. But these days, so olden days, in one building, journalists on top, printing press on bottom. Okay, that's your main idea. These days, or current days, what happens? Editors, sub-editors, journalists are likely to find. So all of them in different buildings. So don't worry about the detail. Editor, sub-editor, journalist, don't worry about it. Everybody, different buildings. Earlier, everybody in the same building. Then this is the situation which now prevails in Sydney. Okay, same situation in Sydney. The daily paper is compiled at the editorial quarters known as pre-press center in the heart. Here, human beings are minority as much of the work is done by automated machines controlled by computer. I'm having a few chats. So I find first question from a 5-minute, but I can't find the answer. So you can't find the answer, or you can't find the question. What is it, Raman? So that's how you read. You read, when you're skimming, you're only looking at the big details. So what did you understand when you skimmed through this? Earlier and now, that's a comparison. Earlier, everybody in the same building. Now, everybody in different buildings. Then what did you understand? It's the same situation in Sydney. Then the daily paper is compiled at this place, but printed far away. So it's compiled in one place and printed somewhere else. Human beings are in minority as work is done by automated machines computed by. So automation is more and people are less, or the workers are less. So you skim through and you try and get only the key idea. Okay, so that's how you skim. You don't understand the details, but you're only skimming through to get the key idea. Some other chat. Oh, you can't find the answer. That's okay. Then you skim through this text. That's what I meant. I was just demonstrating how to skim through. So while you're skimming, you underline the keywords, or you write down the key idea in your paper. Okay, so let me share my screen again. Then what you do is you go back to the table and you read the first sentence once again. So you skim through the entire text. So we skim through only one paragraph. So you skim through the whole text, okay, and then read the first phrase or sentence with a gap in it. Select the keywords and scan the text to obtain that information. So after you skim through the text, what you do? you go back to your question table. You go back to the question table. And you see the final version of the text is to dash to the printing text. So you skim through the entire passage, not the first one alone. You skim through the entire passage, go back to your question statement. When you go back to your question statement, you try and understand this carefully, the final version. So what is your keyword? Your keywords can be nouns, can be dates, can be information, can be adjectives. So here, final version, underline it. That is your keyword of your text is dash to the printing center. Printing center is your keyword, final version is your keyword. Now try to find synonyms quickly. So what could be, the reason why you're finding synonyms is this sentence will not be in this exact form over here. Okay, the meaning of this will be here. So final version, how can you put it in another way? How can you write final version? What could be the synonym for this? It could be completed version, could be the or the end version. The final could be completed, end, finalized. Okay, so version could be product or end product or something like that of the text or of the passage of the reading something. Compiled, yes. Dash to the printing press, so printing center. So now you scan for this information. Go, you're looking for final version and you're looking for printing center. So you go at it. Okay, so you're looking for a verb here. Okay, is something in the ed form, is either brought or done or something in the verb form, and you go looking for, scan this information for printing center. So someone has already answered it. Who has that? Let me check. So here she said, so there is pre-press center, daily paper is compiled, or the final version is compiled at the editorial quarters known as pre-press center. Is that the one? Once the finished newspaper has been created, all the pages are transmitted from, so we're looking for pre-printing center, right? We're not looking for pre-press center. Once the finished, so final edition is finished newspaper has been created, the final version is transmitted electronically. So all the pages, they are transmitted electronically. So this is our answer, transmitted electronically from the pre-press center to the printing center. So to the printing center, you scanned for it, you found, okay, to the printing center is right here. So what happens to the final version or the finished newspaper? All pages are transmitted electronically. Guys, are you able to understand me? Any doubts, anybody? Or are you all asleep? If you've got any doubts, let me know. No, understand. Lovepreet says it's all good. Rajesh, it must be boring for you because you know your strategies well. Are you?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
So Raman, are you able to understand Rinku, Roop, Ira, Ira?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so all right. I'm just doing this in detail, but next class onwards we'll be fast, okay? Because all of you are new. That's why we're doing it in detail, in complete detail, okay? So this is how we answer this type of a question. Okay, so what do we do first? We read the rubric. Okay, what's my maximum words? 3 words. I understand that. Then the next thing I do is the papers are converted into this. I try and skim through this. I read the question statement. Now I skim through the passage. So skimming through the passage, right? To get a gist of it, do it only once. One time skim, not every time skim. You skim one time, then you go and predict. The pages are converted into something. Okay, then underline your keywords. What is your keyword? Pages. Converted means modified, turned, transformed. Some kind of a word like that will be there in the text into something. Then you scan for the information. Pages is our answer, right? So maybe somewhere we saw pages, right? All pages are transmitted electronically. So not transmitted, converted into something, converted or transformed, right? So we go looking for it. Each page, the pages are then processed. They're processed into what? Photographic negative. So we found pages, then converted is processed. That's the synonym. Into what? Into photographic negatives. So you scanned for the information and you found it. Guys, are you able to understand me? How to answer table completion? I'm sorry, flowchart completion. Yes, no, maybe, not given?
Yes.
Okay, now what I'll do is I'm going to keep quiet and I want you guys, I'm going to time you for 5 minutes. Is that okay? Or maybe 6 minutes. So we answered the first two questions, which was an example for you. So will you try and attempt question number 3 to 8? And I'm going to time you for 5 minutes, okay? All right. So if you're unable to see the screen properly, I have shared this question on your chat. Okay, so I'm going to start my timer now for 5 minutes and we will talk again after 5 minutes. While you're solving, I'm trying to solve it as well. Okay, time starts now. That's the end of our 5 minutes. Your time's up. Are you finished? Have you guys finished? Do you want some more time? If you need about 2 more minutes, I can give you that. Or if you're done, start posting your answers on the chat, okay? Okay, I think Sabina has started putting in the answers. I think we'll start discussing the answers. Okay, so the first answer and second one we discussed already. The third one, dash are made for use in the printing presses. So dash are. So we know this is a noun in the plural form because our verb, see, it's are. So we know, okay, this is in the plural form. Are made for use in the printing presses. So printing presses is where we have to go. Scanning. So made for use or used for printing presses. Okay, let's see. Pages are then converted into, where was the last one? Are processed into photographic negatives. Then the film is used to produce, someone has written that. Okay, Lovepreet has written everything. Yes, the first one is correct. It is aluminum printing plates. It's right here. The pages are then processed into photographic negatives and the film is used to produce aluminum printing plates. So this is the right answer. Now the fifth one, the LGVs remove the dash from the reel. So remove could be get rid of, cast away, something like that. So we are going to scan for this information, LGVs and from the reel. So we go looking, where is our information? LGV is here. So LGV, if you look here, any damaged, so it's all about LGV. So at the stripping station, the tough wrapping paper is helping to do all this. A reel of paper from the rough handling tray is removed. Any damaged paper is peeled off. Okay, so this is the answer, damaged paper. The reel is dash. See, it's given here again. The reel is then weighed. Okay, then the reel is taken to the press, and finally, the reel it's taken to the press. Okay, where is the press? So here, it's preparing for the press, and if not required, the reel can be loaded directly into the press if not needed immediately. So this reel is taken to the storage area. So the LGV takes the reel to the storage area. Oh, we didn't do this, right? The reel is trimmed and prepared by. So we're looking for trimmed and prepared. Where is trimming and where is preparing? So, okay, trimmed. Okay, so who does it? Prepared by somebody. So paster robots or robot, it can be both. Paster robots or robots trims the paper and prepares the reel for the press. We missed fourth one. The LGVs are dash by computer. So LGVs are some, again, a verb we are looking for. The LGVs are dash by computer. So here's where LGVs are. They're programmed. But where is computer? Is to shift the newsprint. Once the size of the days are determined, the information is punched into the computer and LGVs are programmed to go about their work. So information is punched into the computer. So the computer is programming the LGVs. Okay, so the answer is, for the first one, transmitted or electronically transmitted. Then the second one is photographic negatives. Okay, or then third one is printing plates or aluminum printing plate. The fourth answer is programmed. The fifth answer is damaged paper or wrapping. It can be both. Okay, because it says that the wrapping paper is removed or the damaged paper is peeled off. It can be both. Then for the sixth one, the answer is weighed, which we just saw, it is weighed and the reel is weighed, right? And the seventh one, the reel is trimmed and prepared by the paster robot. And the last one, if not needed immediately, it is moved to the storage area. That's okay, Sabina. Feel free to go. Okay, guys, I hope you were able to understand it. So the answers to this are there in the end. No looking now, okay? But the answers are there in the back, right at the end. So when the rest of it is as homework for you, when you're solving it at home, feel free to look at the answer in case you missed out, or to check your work if you've done it right. Okay, so the more you do this, the easier it gets. Okay, so that we are still in section 1 and we've just covered one question type today. Let's do the next one. The next question type. Someone's texting. Can we answer the sixth as weighed? Yes, the sixth is weighed. That's the right answer. You don't have to put then wait. You can answer it as wait. Okay. So guys, can you take a picture of this, please? This from 9 to 16 from here. Please take a picture of these questions. When you're done, let me know, please. You can just write wait or then wait because you're well inside it. Okay. So if you guys have taken a picture from 9 to 16, please do so. I'll give you 10 more seconds. Okay, I think 10 seconds are done. Let's go through this question. So this type of a question is called true, false, not given. So the first question, the first type of question that we saw just now, this is called flowchart completion. This is not a very common question type, okay? And there's one more thing that I would like to tell you. 90% of the time, this question, take note of this, please. So this is a hint for you, or this is a trick or a tip, I can say, not a hint or a tip, but this is a tip, okay, for this type of a question. For flowchart question, the answers appear in the order. Okay, so the answers appear in the order. You don't need to go back and forth in your to your passage. So it comes one after the other, especially for flowchart completion. This question type that appears in order because it's a sequence of events. So while you're skimming through, so you located the first answer to be somewhere over here. The second answer won't be found before this. You don't have to go again to this. It is always going to be after this. Okay, so it's going to come in your sequence. All right, so that's a hint for this question type, or that's a note. Okay, so let's start talking about the next type of a question. So before we continue, is there anybody who has a doubt or how to solve this? I know a few of you didn't find the answer for everything, but doesn't matter. You just started. But did you understand the process on how to approach this question? Before we move on, if you've got any doubts in this type of a question, please let me know now. So going once, going twice, going thrice, I'm going to sell this off. Okay, is it sold? Okay, so this approach is considered sold. Okay, this question type, I believe all of you found it. I mean, you can understand this. We'll go on to the next question type. All right, so the next question type is called true, false, not given. Guys, if you are writing down notes or something, this is a very, very common question type. Okay, sometimes it can be found in more than one section. Sometimes you'll have this question type in section 2 and section 3 as well, or sometimes in 1, 2, and 3 as well. So this is a very, very, very common question type. Okay, true, false, not given. At least in one section, you will find this question. So what happens in this question type is you are given a reading passage like you already know. So you're given a reading passage like this, and they give you statements from that passage. So you're given sentences or statements from that passage, and you have to answer if this question is true or false, or if this information is not given. Sounds very simple, right? So this question is sometimes a headache question for many, many students, okay? Actually, it's not as much as a headache question, but if you ask Rajesh, he'll tell you that it's a bit of a headache question. So how to answer this, or what is this question again? So you'll be given a reading passage and you're asked questions from that passage. So you're given the first statement. This statement is from that passage, but this is not exact statement. It's paraphrased, okay? It's written in a different form. So they're asking if the sentence is true with regards to the previous passage, or is the statement false with regards to the passage, or if this information is not given with regards to the passage. That's your job. Now, true is very easy because this should comply, or this should agree 100% to that passage, to the passage that you're given. If the statement can agree 100%, then you write it as true. If this contradicts, or if the information given is ulta, if it's contradicting to the original passage or to the given passage, then it is false. Only if it is contradicting. For example, if the reading passage is giving an information that a majority of the students were absent to class. What does it mean? A majority. It's a qualifying word. It doesn't mean 100%. It doesn't mean everybody. It means a majority. Okay, more than half. That's what it means. And if the question statement is less than half students, or if they say less than a half of the entire students were absent, then it's contradicting, right? It's not the same. It's contradicting. It's a totally different information. So you put the answer as false. Okay. But if the statement is telling about 75% of the students were absent from class, so we don't know, that majority is not giving us a number. We don't know if it's 75% or 80% or 99%. We don't know. We just know a majority is absent. So the information is not given. Okay, so that's how you identify. If it complies 100% to the given information, then it is true. It's false only if it contradicts. Okay, only if the information is not agreeing, if it's contradicting. Okay, then it is false. It's not given if the information is not complete or we don't know what it means. So there is a similar kind of a question type for true, false, not given. There's similar kind of a question type. That's why we pay attention to the rubric. So this question type can also come in another form. So just to check the regular students, I'll just ask them if they remember. Raman, Preet, Raman, what other form can this question come in? True, false, not given can also appear in what form? She's telling, don't even ask me. She's chatted something. Yes, it's called yes, no, not given. So if this question, usually we get it in this form, true, false, not given. Sometimes they'll ask you to write yes, no, not given. Okay, so when they ask you to write yes, no, not given, without looking at the rubric, if you write true, TF, not given, then it's wrong. They won't mark you for that. So be very careful, see what form they're asking you for. Now, what is the approaches, or how can we approach this question type? So let me share my PowerPoint with you guys. Okay, so true, false, not given. What is the strategy for this? Read the instructions carefully, try and understand if this is a true, false, not given, or a yes, no, not given. So your rubric has to be read carefully. Then read all the statement, try to understand the whole statement. So try and read the question statement. So question statement are these statements, right? So question statements means this statement, not the passage, but this is your question statement. So you read through your question statement. While you're reading your question statement, try to understand the information, not just the words, not just the keywords, but also the entire information. Now, if you look at this sentence, you should not arrive more than half an hour before your allocated time. So what is your keyword here? Should not is your keyword. You should not is your keyword. Arrive is your keyword. More than half an hour before your allocated time. So these are called qualifiers: before, after, some, all, majority. All these are called qualifiers. So pay attention to that. Allocated starting time. And then you underline your keywords, you try and understand. So what are they telling? You should not come more than 30 minutes before your allocated time. So if there is allocated time, you can come a maximum of 30 minutes earlier. You can't come 1 hour earlier. You can't come 2 hours earlier. 30 minutes before your starting time. So that's the information that they're given in this sentence. That's how you understand it. So you read it, you try and understand, okay, what are they trying to convey? Okay, I can come a maximum of 30 minutes before the starting time. Okay, should not arrive. Arrive is come. Now I look at my keyword. I try looking at my question passage. Okay, now I go through this passage trying to scan for this idea. I'll scan for this idea. Allocated starting time is my keyword. So I scan, where is this located? So I start from here. It starts here, start time. Okay, allocated start time is indicated by the color of your body number. Allocated start time is somewhere here. So my information is going to be somewhere around this place. It is also printed on the address label of the envelope. Please arrive no earlier than 30 minutes before that time. No earlier than 30 minutes. That means what? Not before. Not before 30 minutes before that time. So what do you think this information? Is it true, false, or is it not given? The answer is, someone unmuted themselves. The answer is true. Well done. The answer is true. So if I say no earlier than, that means what? I shouldn't arrive earlier. I shouldn't come before. Okay, no earlier than. So that's degree of comparison. So the information is true. So that's how you approach this type of a question. You read your question statement, underline, try and understand the meaning, guys. Please, this is very important. Not just the keywords, you understand the meaning. What are they trying to tell me? Look for your qualifiers. Okay, all, most, majority, some, all those are called qualifiers. They will change the entire meaning. So look for your qualifier, then look at your keyword, go locate or scan where your keyword is, and then try and answer the question. Any doubts, anybody? All good? Let's do the next one. Let's do the second question, second statement then. Your rider identity card will be sent to you before the event. So your rider identity card will be sent to you. So they can write it as will be brought to you, will be given to you before the event. So where are our qualifying words? Before is our qualifier. Before the event, that means before the beginning, before it starts. So before the event, what will happen? Rider identity card will be sent to you. That means given to you, taken to you, something similar. So we scan for rider identity card. Where is rider identity card? We'll scan for that information. So in such case, someone has chatted something. So the answer is not given. That's correct, Rajesh. So in such passages, I forgot to tell you this. Sometimes your passages will have headings. See, such paragraphs will have headings. The paragraphs will have headings. So in such cases, it's easy to see. So for example, it's talking about the start. Okay, the information will be located here. Guys, if you're writing down, please write down. If you're having headings for the passage, then the headings will give you a big clue. So here we know that they were talking about the starting time, right? Not arriving, starting time is here. So the start, the information is going to be right here. It's not going to be anywhere else. Like if you look at the next one, some roads may have normal flow on them, normal traffic flow on them. Some roads, that means not all roads, only some roads may have normal traffic flow on them, or normal, minimal, nominal, something like that, flow on them. So we go looking for the information, read through your headings, try to see, is there anywhere where they're talking about traffic? No, so we'll have to scan through trying to find traffic. So there's something traffic. You should be aware there could be vehicles in the opposite direction. Although many roads are closed, this is not always the case. There could be, you should be aware of the possibility, there could be vehicles coming in the opposite direction. So there could be vehicles. Coming of vehicles is traffic. So some roads may have normal traffic. So although many roads are closed, this is not always the case. You should be aware there should be vehicles. So there is traffic. So not always the case says that some. Okay, sometimes. So the answer is true for 11. You guys are able to understand the logic or no? All of you are so quiet.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Era. Thanks, Raman. So let's look at Lovepreet, you're able to understand. Rajesh, you're able to understand all.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I know you are familiar because you know this. Okay, all right, guys. Thanks, Rook. So let's look at the next one. Helmets are compulsory for all participants. Lovepreet, what is your keywords here? What do you think are your keywords there?
I think compulsory.
So helmet is your keyword, it's a noun. So keyword, then compulsory is your qualifier. So it means, okay, then for all participants, all is also qualifier. So your nouns are basically your keywords, Lovepreet. Nouns are your keywords, okay? So when you go looking here, helmet, we already found, okay, our information is going to be here. So what are they asking? Helmet is compulsory for everybody, all participants. So we go see, everywhere, more than half, and then and a helmet gives best protection. There's nothing about helmets here. So which question is this? 12. So anything about rules? Okay, instructions is here. No, is it case? Reckless driving. Anything about your helmets? Anywhere else? So it's compulsory for everybody. That's what they say, right? But we would like to see every cyclist. So they're telling, we are delighted to see more riders wearing protective helmet, but we would like to see every cyclist on the ride wearing one. So they like to see it, but it's not compulsory for all participants. So the answer is false. Okay, so if you look at the next one, refreshments. So can you try to solve from question number 13, 14, 15, 16? Or do you want me to do this one, 13? Let's do 13 together and then, okay. Refreshments. Okay, you want to try. All right, you can try. So from 13 to 16, you guys try. I'll give you about 4 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. You have taken a picture, I believe. So here is your passage. And your time, let me set your timer for 4 minutes. Okay, your time starts now. So good job on that. So if we look at question number 13 we just did, question number 14, if you need a rest, you must get off the road. So where do we look? Where is rest? Rest, refreshment stops in case of breakdown. There's nothing about rest over here. So what do you think is the answer for that? In your chat, where is your chat? So in your chat, it's for 14, Rajesh has written not given. Ira has written not given. Rinku also not given. Roop has written not given. Lovepreet not given. And Raman has not given. So that's okay, Raman. You feel free to leave. Okay, so the answer is indeed not given. So because the information doesn't appear here. So what's the next question? First aid staff, 15. First aid staff can provide cycle capes. So first aid staff, anything about first aid? Is there anything about first aid here? Maybe somewhere here, right? Assistance. No?
No, it's in rain or shine.
Okay, it's in rain or shine. Okay, so cycle cape is an essential. First aid staff can only supply bin liners. So there's nothing about cycle capes, right?
Yeah.
So the answer is false because they can only supply bin liners. They can't, there's nothing. So only supply means what? They won't give you capes. So that's the answer. Next one, bike events will charge you for the return of your bike. Will they charge us for the return of our bikes? No more than this, blah, blah, blah. We cannot guarantee the service. will hold your bike for 3 months, after which it may be disposed of. You will be charged for all costs incurred in returning your cycle. So they will charge. So the answer there is true. I think all of you have got it right. Okay, guys. So that's about 2 question types of our reading that we saw today. True, false, and flowchart completion. Can we do a bit of listening? I'm sure you're going to enjoy listening. It's going to be a lot more easier than reading. So it's more of listening, and we'll do it on the way. Can we start off with listening? Okay, yes, please. Sure. All right. Let's start off with listening. So the rest of it, use it as your homework. In case you've not finished it, we can discuss it tomorrow. We can discuss the rest of the questions maybe tomorrow. So we'll discuss the same thing tomorrow. Okay. So the rest of it, we'll discuss it tomorrow. Same exercise. We'll discuss it tomorrow. So don't sit and solve it, because tomorrow it's going to be boring then. So let me share. Give me a minute. I'll stop this and pull out the listening. While I'm doing that, Rajesh, do you still have access to the Baron's book that you had shared to others as well, that I had shared previously?
Yeah,
If you have access to that, can you please put it on chat?
sure.
Guys, this is a book for your general training. It contains all the 4 modules. So I had shared it earlier in the beginning of my class, and I lost access to it. But Rajesh has it. He will very kindly put it in the chat, and you guys can download it and use that book as a practice place as well. So it's got plenty exercises, not plenty, but it's got a few exercises. So let's do a bit of listening. Okay. Okay, I can share the Word document from where I was teaching. So so maybe you guys can see my screen. I'm just waiting until Rajesh is ready as well, and then we'll start solving these questions. So while he's doing that, we'll just go through this question. So this is the listening test that we're going to solve today. So if you look at it here as well, your rubric is very important. So rubric answers the question, what's your maximum number of words? So here, yeah, I think Rajesh has shared it. This is a very, it contains all your GT questions, Barons, and you guys can use this to solve your reading questions, okay? Is this academic or general?
Which one? The Baron book?
Yeah.
This is the one you shared me initially.
Yeah, so this is a very, if I don't know if it's academic, if this is academic, then this is kind of easy. This is easy for a GT test taker as well. So you can solve your questions. So for Barons, try and solve academic reading, because it's kind of easy. So you can come across these books, not just here, it's all over the internet, free books. So you can take use of it. Let's start with listening. Okay. So this is your listening test 1 that we're going to do today. And you look at the rubric first. We look at the rubric, we see that the maximum number of words here is 3. What should we do? We should complete notes. So this question type is called note completion. So this is your listening. So you'll be listening and you'll be completing your notes. So there's nothing, listening is quite straightforward. You just understand what you have to do in each question type, and then you listen for the answers. Then you listen for this answer. So if you look at this, what does it say? Distance, so many miles. Car hire, the options are don't want to drive. Then something is expensive. Greyhound bus. No, the first one, something is expensive. Maybe, so here it's car hire. So this could be train or plane or some mode of travel that is expensive. Then the third one is Greyhound bus. So the price is so much. It is direct to some kind of a destination that we are looking at. Long journey, long service, something like that. And then fourth one, airport, is some kind of a service. So this is a single service is so much, return is so much. So this would be some service, maybe it could be single or roundabout or some kind of a thing. Then you see it's every 2 hours, and then $35 for single, $65 for return journey as well. You need to book or something. So you try and look at your blanks and try to predict what information you're looking at. So this type of question is called note completion, where you're completing the notes. So they give you time in your listening to look at your question. So while you're looking at your question, you try and understand what kind of answer you might need to listen for. Okay. Then this is okay, so we'll complete the section 1, then we'll talk about section 2. Here again we read our rubric. So here also this is called form completion. So this is also some kind of completion. This is called form completion. And so in your listening, it's usually some kind of a completion: form, table, sentence, note, some kind of a completion. And there is also labeling, map labeling, or something like that, or map labeling or diagram labeling. Some kind of a labeling will be there. Then there are multiple choice questions. Okay, so these are the most found or most commonly occurring listening questions. So don't worry about it. So this note completion, the form completion, these are common questions. These will come in your listening. Okay, there's no listening test without these questions. So kind of easy module, nothing to worry. So you try to understand what should I put here. So you see, if you're looking at the surrounding questions, you try and understand what to put here. So you see car hire, and she doesn't want to drive, or I don't want to drive. They don't want to drive. This one would be some kind of a transport like this, maybe car hire. This could be train or could be bus, could be something similar. So you're looking for some mode of transport here. Here it is direct to the something. So some destination, direct to some kind of a place. Then here it is long something, long travel, long wait, something similar. And if you look here, some service, it could be some kind of airport shuttle, some kind of a service, and then every 2 hours. If you look at it, you look at the rubric, okay, it has to be no more than 3 words. That means maximum is 3. Now, if you look at this one, this is a form completion. So this is an airport shuttle booking form. Okay, they give you time to look at your answers before you start listening. Okay, then 2, this is the destination, Milton, date. So date, this is 1 word and or a number. So the maximum is 1 word and a digit. Okay, so the number has to be written in digit. If you write 23 in words, it's considered as 2 words. But if you write 23 numbers, it's considered to be a number. Clear? So they're telling 1 word and or a number means 1 word is allowed plus a number or a digit. Okay, either 1 digit, 2 digit, doesn't matter, but 1 word and a number is allowed. So if you look here, date, it could be 23rd October or 23 October or 34, no 34, right? What a stupid person I am. So it's 16 February or something like that, 34 October. Then name, Janet, and then some kind of a surname is allowed here. Then fare, then credit card number. Be aware of the number. Okay, another hint for your listening, right? Always when the person is talking, when they're talking about an answer, for example, he's telling the surname, Okay, he says, and her name is Ruth Cherian. When they're telling the answer, always listen. They'll tell the answer clearly. Okay, so they'll usually, for most of the listening, the answer will be clear. Okay, so pay attention to such kind of words because they'll clearly tell the answer. Okay, so without wasting time, let's start solving section 1 at least of listening. Okay, so we'll do section 1, complete section for listening from question number 1 to 10. Okay, let's try to do this listening. Are you guys ready? Do you have pen and paper and everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Spellings are important. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and start.
You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Section 1. You will hear a telephone conversation between a passenger and an official at the Land Transport Information Service at Toronto Airport. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5.
Oh, I'm not sharing the screen, right? Sorry.
You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Section 1. You will hear a telephone conversation between a passenger and an official at the Land Transport Information Service at Toronto Airport. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, this is Land Transport Information at Toronto Airport. How may I help you?
Oh, good morning. I'm flying to Toronto Airport next week, and I need to get to a town called Milton. Could you tell me how I can get there?
Milton, did you say? Let me see. I think that's about 150 miles southwest of here. In fact, it's 147 miles to be exact. So it'll take you at least, say, 3 to 4 hours by road.
Wow, is it as far as that?
Yes, I'm afraid so. But you have a number of options to get you there, and you can always rent a car right here at the airport, of course.
Right. Well, I don't really want to drive myself, so I'd like more information about public transport.
Okay. In that case, the quickest and most comfortable is a cab. And of course, there are always plenty available, but it'll cost you. You can also take a Greyhound bus, or there's an airport shuttle service to Milton.
I think for that kind of distance, a cab would be way beyond my budget. But the bus sounds okay. Can you tell me how much that would cost?
Sure. Let's see, that would be $15 one way or $27.50 return. That's on the Greyhound.
Ah, that's quite cheap. Great. Whereabouts does it stop in Milton?
It goes directly from the airport here to the city center, and it's pretty fast. But you have to bear in mind that there is only one departure a day, so it depends what time your flight gets in.
Oh, of course. Hang on. Oh, we're due to get there at 11:30 a.m.
Too bad. The bus leaves at 3:45, so you would have quite a wait, more than 4 hours.
Oh, I see. Well, what about the shuttle you mentioned?
Okay, that's the airport shuttle that will take you from the airport right to your hotel or private address. It's a door-to-door service, and it would suit you much better because there's one every 2 hours.
So how much does that cost?
Let's see. Yeah, that's $35 one way, $65 return. So I guess it's a bit more expensive than the Greyhound.
Oh, that doesn't sound too bad, especially if it'll take me straight to the hotel.
But you do need to reserve a seat.
Okay. Is it possible to make a booking right now through you?
Sure.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Okay, I just have to fill this form out for you. So what date do you want to book this for?
The 16th of October. Oh, no. Sorry, that's my departure date. I arrive on the 17th, so book it for then, please.
So that's the Toronto Airport shuttle to Milton. And this is for just one person, or?
Yeah, just me, please.
Right. And you said your expected time of arrival was 11:30? So if I book your shuttle for after 12, let's say 12:30, that should give you plenty of time to, collect your baggage, maybe grab a coffee.
Yeah, that sounds fine. As long as we land on time.
Well, we'll take your flight details, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Now, what about the fare? What sort of ticket do you want? One way or?
Yeah, that'll be fine, provided I can book the return trip once I'm there.
No problem. Just allow a couple of days in advance to make sure you get a seat. And what is your name, please?
Janet Thompson.
Is that Thompson spelled with a P?
No, it's Thomson.
Okay. And you'll be coming from the UK? What flight will you be traveling on?
Oh, it's Air Canada flight number AC936 from London Heathrow.
Right. Now, do you know where you'll be staying? We need to give the driver an address.
Yes, it's called the Vacation Motel, and I think it's near the town centre. Anyway, the address is 24 Kitchener Street. That's Kitchener Street.
That's fine. Right, so that's $35 to pay, please. Have you got your credit card number there?
Yes, it's a Visa card, and the number is 3303 8450 2045 6837.
Okay. Well, that seems to be everything. Have a good trip, and we'll see you in Toronto next week.
Yes, bye. Oh, thanks for your help.
Okay, so Before we continue, there are two things I know. Before we look at our answer, there are two things that I would like to tell you, which I left earlier, which is quite important. So I will need you to pay attention. Section 1 of your listening in your test or wherever, section 1 is always going to be a conversation between two people. Okay. Section 1, expect to hear two voices. It's going to be a conversation between two people. Section 2 could be a conversation between three people. Okay, so section 1 is a dialogue, two people talking. Section 2 is going to be at least three people talking. So usually in section 2, it is going to be a professor or some kind of an academic setting, and there are two people. So you will hear three voices. Okay, you will be able to differentiate the voices, but you'll basically hear three voices in section 2. In section 3, you'll be listening to only one person, and occasionally someone will ask him a question. It is going to be one complete monologue. In the third section of listening, or the third part of listening, the audio that you're listening to will be only one person, and that will be an academic audio as well, and he'll be talking, and there'll be questions only in between. It could be a student submitting a project, it could be a salesperson showing a presentation, it could be anything like that, but usually it'll be in the academic setting. That's one thing that I should tell you. The second thing that I should tell you is a hint, okay, a tip when you're doing listening. For example, you listen to this question, right, where she was telling about the time, about the date. She told, she told 16 October. I'm sure you all wrote 16 October. Then she said, no, I'm coming on the 17 October. So there were two answers, right? So in your listening, that's very, very common. Okay, so they'll give you an information, but always listen patiently, because that information is not the right information, the information that comes after or after it. Sometimes they even give you 2 or 3 wrong informations and only then come at the right answer. So when you're listening, be very patient. So when you're writing on your question sheet here, if you're using a paper-based or even a computer-based, when you're writing your answer on the question sheet, okay, see that you write all this information. She told 16. If she told 16, write 16. She wrote 17. She told 17, and she confirmed at 17, right? So write 17 as well. Scratch 16 and only then enter 17 or write down 17. Okay, so all these information, write it down. The important information, write it down, then scratch the wrong ones and only then write the right ones. Okay, so these are two things that I had to tell you, but I left behind. So let's look at the answer. Before that, how did you find this? Was this easy?
Yeah, this was pretty easy.
Yeah. So section 1 is always going to be easy. Your listening is basically an easy one, okay? So you won't have a problem. It's only spellings you should worry about. And if you're using a paper-based test for reading and listening, because even if you're using a computer-based test, there's no need for you to worry about capitalization. You can write everything in capital. You know that, right? So if I'm writing, her name was Thompson, right? Janet Thompson. I know that T has to start with capital and then write this. This is the answer, right? But in your reading and listening IELTS, you can always opt to write like this. Okay, so you won't be making an error for your grammar or something like that. There won't be an error. You knew this. You're able to understand me, right? Except for your writing. For your essay, you can't write like this. Okay, they'll kick you out. For your reading and for your listening, you can write your answers like this. Okay, any doubts? All right, so otherwise you have to remember all the rules of capitalization and capitalize it, but to avoid a risk, you can always write like that. So the first answer was taxi. Or do you guys want to put in your answers first? Or wait, maybe you can check it like this. We don't have a lot of time as well. So we have about 7-8 minutes left. The first answer was taxi. The second one was city center. So C in capital. I know it's not written in capital here, but city center has to be in capital. The third answer was wait. Fourth one was door to door. So there were 3 words. 3 words was the limit, right? And the fifth one was either reserve or reserve a seat. So far, are we all good? Any doubts?
I wrote cab as the first answer. So
Did she tell cab or taxi?
I think they said cab.
Both are correct then. If it is cab, then cab or taxi, both are right. So city center, wait, city space center. Is everything else okay?
also for the third one, I wrote waiting time because maybe he said like
Yes, long wait. Yes. So as long as it's within your 3-word limit, waiting time is also fine.
Okay.
Anybody else? Anything else? Anybody? Okay. So from 6 to 10, there was only 1-word limit. All of you were aware of that. Did you read the rubric? 1 word and a digit or a number. So reserve is correct. Okay. A seat. This is wrong. Okay. This is not me. This is wrong. It's wrong, guys. 17 of October. This is wrong as well because there's only 1 word and digit. So it is 17 October. So maybe I'll write it on the chat. So the answer is a screenshot. So that's why it's. So I'll just write it down. Oh gosh. Okay. So the first one is taxi. Okay, I'll write it from the 6th one. So the 6th answer is 17 October because it's only 1 word. Then 7:18 is, 7 is 12:30. So it was PM. So 7 is 12:30. Then 8 is Thompson. 9 is, 9 is correct. AC 936. Is the 9th answer AC 936 or? No, I think the answer was.
Yeah, it was AC 936.
Okay. 9, the answer is AC 936. And 10, this is the answer. 3303-8450-2045-6837. So even if there is no space in between, it's still correct.
Actually, I wrote reserve seat for 5th answer. Do you think it's still correct? Reserve seat.
No, just 1 word, right? That was the rubric. So this you have to be
I
very
think it's from question 6, like you're supposed to do 1 word.
Yes. So question.
I believe because first,
Yes.
5
So,
questions were in the
yes.
second one.
Question 6, only 1 word. So 6 is the date. Where was that reserve seat? Was it 5th one or?
Yeah, it was 5th.
Okay. 5th one, reserve a seat or reserve seat. Both are correct. But from 6 onwards, it's going to be just 1 word. So that's why even 17 of October is wrong. It has to be 17 October.
I had one more doubt. So the 7th answer is 12:30. So is it considered a single number if we put colon in between? Or?
Yes, it's still considered a single number.
Okay.
Anything else, guys?
I just text you the answer for date, like the 6th one. Do you think it's still correct? I put 17.
The superscript, right? The TH, the superscript. That's your thing, right? That's your doubt. The superscript, TH, that's the one, right? That's okay. The superscript is okay. It's still part of the word, part of the digit.
Okay, all good.
Okay. So if that's all, let's start off from section 2. So remember the 2 things that I had forgotten earlier to tell you. Section 1 is always a dialogue. Okay, and always write and scratch the wrong answer. Be patient. They will always tell 1 or 2 wrong answers and only then arrive at the right answer. So be very patient with that, especially for this question type. The next one that we are going to see is going to be multiple choice answer. So you have to listen carefully and choose from the right answer. So for this, has been organizing holidays for some kind of a years. So here especially, they will tell 2 or 3 wrong answers. So don't, as soon as you hear your option, don't stick to it, because they will change it. They'll tell has been organizing holiday for 15 years. And then they'll say, no, wait, I was wrong. I think they've been organizing holidays for 25 years. No, wait. I think it's been 20 years. Yeah, I'm sure it's 20 years. So they'll keep changing their answer. Okay, so always write it in your question paper, then scratch the wrong answer, patiently listen to the right answer. Okay, so this is a common strategy employed with listening. Okay, are you ready for the next one? Are you ready for the next section? I think it's time already. You know what, you can take this as your homework. So I'll send you the link for this audio in the chat, and I'll put this and you guys can use this as your homework. Is that okay? I'll send it off now itself. Please give me a minute. I'll put this as your homework today. Listening. Okay, and your answer. So there are 2 documents. If one has your answer, okay, this is your answer and the link. Okay, the second one. So you know, right, that your listening has a jugaad. You know what? When you find, pardon me for using the, so you know what happens in listening? You will come across the answers, or you come across the questions, and you don't know where to find your answer or where to find the audio. So you know, there's a trick for that. Do you know what to do? So you see this question, transport from airport to Milton. Where on earth can I find it? You know what? Just go to Google, type in whatever you see, transport from airport to Milton, IELTS listening, and you'll get the audio for that. So even if you have the questions and you don't know the audio, just go to Google and just type in whatever you see, transport from airport to Milton, and you put IELTS listening, you'll get it. Or you just put airport shuttle booking form, IELTS listening, you'll get your audio as well as everything. Okay, you can do that even for your reading. Every single thing is online. You'll get books online, so you just need to look for it. You'll get it. In case you're stuck, let me know. I'll send it off to you. So before we leave for today, is there anything that you would like to ask me? So this is your homework, okay? Listening and reading. We'll discuss the remaining tomorrow. Is there anything you would like to ask me before we leave? All good?
Sorry, can you share that Word file as well
Okay. Just give
for
me
the
a
reading?
minute. It's not a very refined copy. So give me a minute. I'll share it.
It's 4 o'clock.
Okay. Is that me or is that you? Reading. Strategy, reading question types. Okay. Chat. Okay. I've sent it over to you. I've put it in the chat. So I think you can download it from there. So all this is a compilation. So if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. Come with a lot more doubts. So tomorrow, Rajesh, are you here tomorrow? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not you're not be attending classes only on
Friday.
Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, so because last time, because you were regular, I had prepared based on only the regular people's attendance. So,
Oh,
okay, I'll keep that in mind. So, guys,
yeah.
we'll do the rest of the reading and listening tomorrow. And on Wednesday, we will attempt task 1. Okay, so we'll write a letter on Wednesday. That's all, guys. So we have our lessons every day from Monday to Friday, 2 to 4 Sydney time. It was very, very good meeting you guys, and All right. That's all, girls and boys. That's the end of it. Leaving for the day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks.
ma'am.
Have a good day.